Hey everybody, you're all very welcome to another Revenue Hacks show with me, Khristina, Quigley from Hoist Group, and we are so delighted to be here. We've got a fantastic show ahead of us today in association with Raise Up. I'm so excited to be sharing the screen with some amazing gentlemen in the world of crypto, hospitality and technology. So without further ado, I'm actually going to introduce the panel today rather than the panel introduce themselves. And then I'm going to let Darko take over because we've got the basic terms in cryptocurrency and crypto world so that everyone can make themselves familiar before we kick off the conversation. So first of all, we have Sibley from Travala.com. If you're not aware of Travala.com, they are actually an OTA or a travel agent that you can actually book and pay for your rooms using cryptocurrency. It's groundbreaking. It's really interesting to hear what Shane is doing. He's also working on a number of different projects over the next while, and he will be coming to a hotel near you. So trust me on this. It is amazing. It is exploratory. It's going to be game-changing completely. We have Thibault, regular here with us on Revenue Hacks. We all know Thibault, founder and CEO of Catala Consulting. We have the Cardano Hotel podcast, which is actually Alfred. He runs the first ever Cardano Hotel in the world. Cardano is actually a cryptocurrency. Ada, if you're not familiar about it, you will hear all about it today. We have the one and the only Mr. Meme, Calvin Tilokee, coming live from LA as normal. So excited to have Calvin back on the show. It's always great to have him here. And last but not least, we have Darko. Darko actually works with a company called Sciant. He is actually part of the Raise Up team. He's very secret in the background. No one ever even realizes it. So I'm so excited to have Darko here on the screen. And he's got his magical quiff with him today. So we're all so excited. So Darko, we're going to hand it over to you. You need to, yeah.
Perfect, awesome. Okay, so when we were planning to have the show, it was a very interesting topic because we know how our hoteliers can be very, very, very thorough and detailed, and as well also they are coming from different stories, different backgrounds. So the thing here is that when we were assembling a team who will do the first episode on crypto topic, we decided to just briefly touch what is blockchain, a little bit terminology, and then focus on how crypto world can be adopted in the hospitality world. So we prepared a few slides. So they're a little bit really gentle about what I have said it. So blockchain, where it can be used, what is the cryptocurrency, etc. And if we can just put a few slides so that the audience can see it. So I will not repeat it and I will not read it here by myself. You can do it on your own. But what is the blockchain? So the blockchain is a system of recording information in a way that it makes it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. So a blockchain is essentially a digital ledger of transactions that is duplicated and distributed across the entire network of computer system on the blockchain. So the thing here is, if you read my slide right now, it's like a spreadsheet with the where you can add all of the transaction, but you cannot change it because on top of the blockchain you have different methodologies for securing transactions. And the biggest three blockchains right now, we have a Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, and we have a Cardano. Everything else, what you probably have heard, are projects built up on those blockchains. The thing here is that today, as Khristina said, Alfred will explain a little bit about Cardano. Shane will say a little bit about more on the cryptocurrencies, but in general, this is what the blockchain is. And if we can go further, the thing here is that where we can have the blockchain use cases. So the thing here is that majority of people, they actually see the different coins, different tokens in circulation, more or less, on the exchanges. But the thing here is that all of those tokens, coins, and everything, what touches the crypto, it actually serves some purpose. The thing here is that we can adopt those technology in supply chain, in healthcare, royalty payments, Internet of Things, hospitality and travel, gaming, events, art, and probably you have seen it and hear it, NFTs, which is really a big thing. I need to remind you, and we need to be very cautious here. The thing here is that we are just at the beginning of adoption, and the many things, of course, will be applicable, will be tested by early adopters, but sooner or later, the thing here is that this will become a standard of working in a technology and actually accepting those things in a real life. If we go further, the thing here is that what is cryptocurrency? So basically, cryptocurrency is like a digital form of cash, which you can pay with your friends, share it or of the bar tab, and as well also it's like a PayPal or bank transfer. So the thing here is that cryptocurrency is actually the way how you can spend it, and some organizations can accept those cryptocurrencies, and in the way that you can pay the services or the goods in general. So, and the idea behind the cryptocurrencies is that we don't need to have any middlemen. So the thing here is that cryptocurrencies are actually built up to remove the middleman from the equation. So if I want to send 10 ADA to Alfred and to Cardano, I can do that without any bank, without anybody in the between. And that's the way and where you can actually hear the term decentralization, and that's actually where we are streaming with the cryptocurrencies in general. So as well, also, if we can go to the next slide, please. What you can do with the cryptocurrency. So majority of you for sure are right now watching how the Cardano is booming, how Ethereum is booming, and you can as well, of course, invest in different coins. Also, you can make a private transaction. I can send my coins to the people in the audience and do the private transaction. I can do the cross-border payment as well, also earn interest. That's something what Alfred could share with you in the next minutes or so, because you can actually stake your coins and earn some interest on it. You can as well also pay services. You can buy art. You can as well also do the voting mechanism. Many coins are actually built up in the way that they are allowing their owners to vote for some projects, and as well also for some new rights which will be applied to the ecosystem of that coin. So you can actually do many things. And the last but not the least, if you invested, let's say, 2011 in Bitcoin, right now you can buy yourself a Lambo or maybe a Tesla if the Tesla will accept Bitcoin in the next round of the investment. If we go further, just to tell you how big is the crypto market. So this was the latest data from August the 4th. We put it here, several biggest cryptocurrencies and market capitalization. Unfortunately, we did not update today, but I have checked the coin market cap page, and today value of crypto market is $1.6 trillion US in this phase. So we had like almost 25% increase in just a few days. So as you can see, investments are here, adoption is ready to be applied, and now I'm leaving the podium to our great panelists and to hear more from them.
So thank you so much for giving, a basic information, because a lot of people don't actually know or understand what crypto is. And it's something that we're all very excited about. Thibault's been very quiet. And Thibault's a huge, big fan of blockchain. And Thibault's one of the reasons we're going to go into a blockchain episode. And I just want to thank Sheila for joining. Hey, how are you?
Hello. Sorry for the delay.
So we're going to kick off this conversation because I think it's really, really interesting. And we need to start talking about cryptocurrency and hotels. Alfred, your hotel is the first Cardano hotel across the world. What made you come up with this idea in actually transforming your hotel from a standard hotel that relied on OTAs into a crypto?
Well, it's a bit of a story. The story started maybe 4 years ago in 2017, because as many other people, we were first exposed to cryptocurrencies by Bitcoin, by a friend of us in Brazil. And we developed an interest in Bitcoin. And when we realized what Bitcoin was, that you can make peer-to-peer transactions, we immediately sort of saw the possibilities. But Bitcoin had some issues, 4 years ago. I remember using it, and the transaction, this 2017, would get stuck sometimes, and you would have to wait for 2 or 3 days. So then the person who introduced us to Bitcoin said, well, there's also other things called altcoins. I don't know, what are those? And they explained that Bitcoin was just like the first cryptocurrency in the world, but then there were many other ones to follow suit, on different projects. So when we get interested, we started looking into all those projects, also ICOs at the time, where they would sell, the coins for each project. And for us, it was very interesting because it was like a window on the world of technology, which for us as a hotelier is something that we usually don't have exposure to. So by going all through all the projects, we found a little one-page article about another project called Cardano, and it's sort of I understood that Cardano was trying to solve the issues that Bitcoin was having at the time, and for some reason it really appealed to us. So I started investigating more, and then came across what many people in the crypto world know. It's called the whiteboard video by Charles Hoskinson. So if you have a chance, you haven't seen it, you should go and see it. And that completely blew me away, because I realized that these guys were looking for the solution to what is like fantastic new technology. So then, talking to my friend, the one who introduced me to cryptocurrency in the first place, he said, well, if you like it so much, why don't you be the first business in the world or hotel to accept ADA? Because there's many businesses that already accept Bitcoin, but you might be the first to accept ADA. And we thought, well, that's a cool idea, not knowing what might come of that, what might develop over the years. So we did. We sent a tweet to the company that was developing the technical part of Cardano, called IOHK. It got picked up. They just happened to have someone in Barcelona who came to interview us. They made a blog article on the website, and then consequently we got invited to Lisbon, where we met the CEO of Cardano, Charles Hoskinson, and we went to dinner with him, and well, that's how it all started. But it was only day one, so.
That's really interesting to hear, because it's quite an interesting way to capture a new payment method, but also market your hotel to a completely different segment and a complete different mindset of people who believe in community rather than just that once-off customer.
Exactly. Which is very interesting. Yes.
It brings me to Shane, because Shane, I think this is where you come in, because you work for a travel company. You guys are building a platform that you're able to book and pay for rooms using cryptocurrency. So can you talk us through the thought process that went into that? Why did you guys come up with this idea, and where it's going over the next few months? Because you are moving into the direct contract sphere.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks very much for having me. First, I'll weigh in on Alfred there and just say, cryptocurrency loyalists are, cryptocurrency in general, their crypto communities are very loyal. So if you have Cardano pillows, they might get taken. You might have to stock up on that inventory. We got into cryptocurrency back in 2017. Trivago.com started as just simply accommodation. We moved into flights and activities as well. So we're an online travel agency. We have our own native cryptocurrency, AVA or AVA, and it works as a discount or a discount token or a rewards-based token. So anytime that you book activities or accommodation, you get 2% back on in AVA, and it's a rewards-based token that also can be staked as a loyal customer for further discounts and further gift backs. So we actually reward people for holding our cryptocurrency and basically adopting it within their system. So loyal travelers, if they are staking their tokens, they're going to be able to get additional discounts and additional gift backs as support from our team for being loyal and being there with us. Now, the reason that we got into it in the first place was online travel agencies in a historical case is they do a lot of the price setting for the hotels, and the hotels have there isn't a lot of transparency for the pricing models to the end consumer. So what we've really looked at doing here in the interim from 2017 until now is really that growth acquisition and being able to bring mainstream adoption to different types of cryptocurrencies. But the next step is going to be in direct contracting with the hotels as well, to be able to give more transparency to the end consumer and being able to allowing the hotels to price that as well. So having a rewards-based token for those hotels, but also giving transparency to the end consumer and and taking the golden handcuffs, so to speak, off of the hotels for the traditional sense of online travel agencies. Now, sorry, were you going to chime in there?
No, it's okay. Keep going. Go on.
So we accept over 40 different types of cryptocurrencies, and with anybody that's familiar with altcoins, with traditional or with some of the bigger cap cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, a lot of people are holding them for speculative value because, as Darko mentioned at the beginning, we're right at the beginning of this adoption curve, and people are holding these for speculative value. So what we really want to be able to do is give people a use case, so that you're not just going to be converting it back into fiat and then purchasing travel. We want to be able to have you purchase travel directly with your cryptocurrency. So moving this into the mainstream adoption, you have things like Bitcoin, which is kind of a store of value. You've got an Ethereum, which you build upon, and it kind of acts as an app store. And then you have different types of cryptocurrency that, of course, you're going to have your loyalists because they believe in the project from an early stage, but they're going to be holding your tokens. But what are you going to use with those tokens? Do you just convert it back into fiat? Well, we're creating an ecosystem here that's going to be much larger than creating it. That's going to be converting it back into fiat, where you can actually go and pay with your cryptocurrencies. So the future of looking at these wallets is going to be, you're going to have, it's going to kind of speak to your personality. Like myself, I'm going to hold a lot of AVA because I like to travel. I'm currently in Costa Rica, and I want to be able to invest in companies that are going to invest in what the things that I like to do, give me discounts, give me give backs, and allow me to participate in the company's growth as well. So you're going to find that with a lot of different altcoins and cryptocurrencies. And I think that it's going to, with Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think it's going to kind of separate from the pack a little bit, where you're going to have people that are going to be that much more interested in the companies that are going to speak to their lifestyle more so than just speculative interest.
I think that's it. It's a mouthful. It's a very big mouthful, but I think it's very, very interesting because it's the exploration of the market, and for everyone, hoteliers in particular right now are trying to get that stream back. They're trying to stop being so reliant on the OTAs. So they need to start looking at additional avenues. And I don't think cryptocurrency was open there. And that's why we're having this conversation today. And it was actually Darko who recommended this conversation. And it wasn't until I actually started learning from Darko that this opened a whole wealth of information and knowledge to me, from a marketing side, a reduction on fee side, but also being able to use a different payment method. Let's be honest, credit card fees, transaction fees are very expensive in general. And a lot of people have adopted cryptocurrency, be it because they're interested in it, or they have the Revolut app, or they've got Coin Market, and they've got fear of missing out, FOMO syndrome. But the problem with that is that people buy into all these at quite high prices, as Darko was explaining to me, and then get freaked out when everything crashes and gets rid of it. Which brings me to my question. We had a very good question from Dylan Beaumont, who's a regular Revenue Hacks watcher, viewer, audience, and he's asking, is there any crypto that is stable enough for hotel owners to accept it as a form of payment without the fear of volatility?
Well, without the fear of volatility, we've got things like stable coins. That is a digital currency that is pegged to whatever denomination that you're going to be holding it in, whether it be the euro, the USD, USD, CAD, whatever that may be. You've got stable coins across the world that are pegged to fiat currencies. You just hold it in a digital format.
Okay. But in regards to the current ones that are there, Darko, is there such thing as a stable currency?
But the thing, to be honest, right now, if fully transparent, many stories with crypto are ending up in a way that you accept the cryptocurrency, immediately you are transferring to fiat, and then you are storing in fiat. Or you have some organizations who are actually looking at it a little bit differently, and that's where I can see the revenue people in the hospitality world and the hotel world should pay attention. So the thing here is then once this would become a stable thing, or at least once you will be sure 100%, then the thing here is that you can actually accept crypto, and then you as a revenue manager, together with the finance person in a hotel, you can decide what you want to do with it. Would you like immediately to transfer it? Would you like to invest it? Would you like to keep it? Because if you say that the $100, or let's say that the room is, I don't know, look, I will go back to the beginning. The thing here is that you need to be very careful when you are speaking in front of the crypto audience about the naming of the coins, because everybody are so pumped up on their investment, on the projects, etc. So when I will name few of them, please excuse me. It's not that I'm fan of those. I'm just giving an example, so that's the thing. But on top of that, when it comes to the communities, that's the possibility for hoteliers, as what Alfred is explaining here, and what he will share with us, is that he branded his hotel as a Cardano. So imagine right now that almost 500,000 members are on Twitter following Cardano. So that potentially it's 500,000 of guests for Alfred. So these are the things what you can look from that perspective as well. As we know in a regular hospitality world, where we have Hilton, who have Canopy or Marriott Moxie, so that for sure will become something very hot in the future. One very important thing: 1 in 5 millennials from 25 to 40 now own cryptocurrency. So we have Generation Z, we have Generation Alpha, and those guys are the biggest demographic group that owns a cryptocurrency, and they are potential guests of our hoteliers in the next 5-10 years. So that's also as well something which is an interesting point to share. So to go back to the beginning of the question, but I just wanted a little bit to wrap it up. The thing here is that right now, if you're a hotelier, like Alfred, you accept Cardano, and you are sitting with the revenue manager, say, okay, look, room was, I don't know, 100 euro. 100 euro was okay, right now it will be like 90 ADA, let's call it like that. So we can keep the 90 ADA for a few days. Maybe the ADA will go up like for 5%, and then our room will not be 100 euro, it will be 105 euro. So immediately it's additional cash of 5 euro. Or what Shane is saying, you can accept ADA, convert immediately to these stable coins, which is exactly as you are converting to fiat, but they are tied to original fiat currencies, and you can keep it there and be sure that nothing will happen. So this is where the possibilities where I can see that it could happen. And also we have more and more other levels which hoteliers can actually multiply the value of accepted crypto. I'm telling you that I'm home based in Croatia, and the thing here is that if you visit the country, you will notice that all of the prices are stated in euros, and our national currency is Croatia kuna. So no one is stating in Croatia kuna. Everybody is stating in euros. So immediately hoteliers learn how to live when they accept many euros. Then they are waiting and to see how the euro will grow up to exchange for local currency. So that's possibility.
I have to get to Thibault, because Thibault, as Calvin said to me backstage, is about to explode, and we could see him about to explode, because Thibault is probably one of the most progressive revenue managers that I know for a very, very long time. So Thibault, say it.
Yeah, thank you, Darko. I love to hear what you're talking about and so on, and to see a lot of activities and development in this world is amazing. However, from a revenue management perspective, it's kind of mind blowing. Just to think of for us forecasting, first of all, the demand, and then we are going to add another layer, which is forecasting the price of the crypto. That's quite a lot of information together. So for me, my first idea of accepting crypto will be first to kind of do a currency exchange. like I price my my room at 500, and what is 500 in Ethereum or what is 500 in Bitcoin, and then depending on this, you will have some fluctuation, not the reverse. Instead of holding directly the crypto directly yourself, because it would be a risk for the owner and for the hotel directly. So that's why we seek to reduce the risk. Some owners will be more savvy, will understand, okay, I'm taking the Ethereum, I'm taking everything and I'm holding on it because I know that's a good investment. But I will see more a way to kind of translate this kind of, use a different option of crypto as the same as a USD, the same as Euro, as Ethereum and Bitcoin and so on, but that's kind of a risk. And then my second question, it was not a question, how do you do, technically speaking, to accept the crypto? Because currently you cannot go with a credit card at the front desk and saying like, I want to pay in Bitcoin. Maybe in the future, yes, and I hope so. But today there's this kind of equipment that you need, or at least you need to be a bit savvy to accept those kind of Bitcoin or crypto. So how do you do this, technically speaking?
Does Alfred or Shane want to chime in on this? Because you guys already accept crypto in
If
both
I can,
your worlds.
I did.
Shane,
Darko
go ahead.
is frozen. Alfred, go on, because you actually accept crypto in your world.
Yes,
Payment.
correct. But, I mean, first of all, interesting little anecdote, because one of the things that Darko mentioned was that when you accept basically any cryptocurrency, you also become part of that community. In our case, we just accepted. We decided that we like Cardano, so we accepted ADA, but we might also in future accept Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever you. 2 minutes before we went live, I got up from my chair and I had to do something by the reception, and somebody checked in from the Cardano community 2 minutes before the program started. So I thought it was interesting to from the guy from Texas. Anyway, at the moment, the technology, it is what it is, because we can just, somebody might come to the hotel and make a payment directly from their wallet to our wallet, like in front of us, they will just make a transaction. But we're in talks with certain companies that are now coming out with the technology that might allow a whole different type of money flow. So I think as far as Cardano is concerned, they're coming out with what is called smart contracts. People probably don't know what it is, but anyway, this will facilitate many things and many new forms of payments, etc. And that's actually happening at the end of August, Thibault, to answer your question. So what is obviously at the beginning of an industry, something is very primitive. Now they're at the stage where it's going to be very sophisticated, to the point where they might be competing with other money flow or money processes like MasterCard and Visa, and because that's where it's going. It's supposed to have the same use for the customer as any other type of payment system. I think maybe Shane knows a lot about this from Travala, but because I think you guys are already integrating your own technology or developing. So.
Yeah, and I mean, from an online travel agency perspective, it's pretty easy, because if you're holding any cryptocurrency, you're going to be holding it in a wallet, whether it's something that's an extension, more of a cold wallet, or if you're going to be doing something that's a hot wallet which is held on an exchange. You're going to have a QR code when you want to transfer cash. So if a hotel actually accepts any form of payment, if they've got a wallet, then you can just do a peer-to-peer transaction to a QR code. But if you want to simplify things there are visas already that you can, like BlockFi, for example, a company called BlockFi, you can deposit Bitcoin or Ethereum directly into the account, and then you can actually be issued a Visa card. So this is only held within the U.S. right now, but this technology is just it's rampant. You're getting more and more of these types of cards issued. So you go and deposit Bitcoin, and then if you're going to be using that Visa card, it's going to be it'll pay the hotel in any which currency that they want, but it's going to take away from your deposits of Bitcoin.
So I want to bring Darko in, because Darko actually was having a conversation and we had to cut him off because he froze. But I think it's interesting is Darko actually works in the tech world. So I want to know, Darko, first of all, is the hotel systems or hospitality systems ready for this next step? Because that's what, we need to be thinking of for hotels. And how long do you think it will be before hotels actually have a proper tech stack to be able to do this? And Sylvia actually has a question that kind of relates to this right now.
The thing here is that we are at the beginning, as I said at the beginning of the show. The thing here is that, let's say, just an example, that we are right now as a Sciant, we have this travel and hospitality practice, and we have banking and fintech practice. With our banking and fintech practice, we have knowledge about cryptocurrencies, about crypto exchanges, and as well also about stock exchanges, but the softwares who are built for those purposes. The thing here right now for one hotelier, it's very important to understand the whole story, how this will look like in real life. So when I have a guest in front of me, and if I'm accepting crypto, what does this mean for a guest? What the things they need to do? Should I just send an invoice, show them an invoice with QR code? They will go to the wallet, as Shane was explaining, take a picture of the QR code. Immediately it will be recognized as a hotel wallet, and then the money will be transferred. Then in the PMS, we need to close the folio, and then the question would be from the finance point of view, where this crypto will be stored, and then how it will be handled. So right now, as each of the blockchain, including Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Cardano, they have their own payment providers, not just one, but you have many of those. Because we are at the beginning of the whole story, and what Shane was saying, that's the reason why people are right now mixing with the credit cards, because for the hoteliers, it's right now more easier to accept crypto, convert it to fiat, and then use that fiat for their own purposes. But in the future, what will happen is that we will have, same as we have right now, payment gateways which are accepting credit cards. That will be the same way that you will have payment gateways which will accept crypto, and they will settle the bill immediately. Then the next phase, as I'm expecting, would be to educate the hospitality people what to do with the crypto. And that's more coming from the finance point of view. Would you invest the crypto? Would you stake it? Would you borrow it? Because these are also possibilities right now, because as probably you have heard that we have many new DeFi apps, decentralized applications, etc. These are the questions which will for sure come in the phase 2. But right now, we're scientists. We are speaking currently with different crypto payment providers to do integration to POS world, to PMS world, so that for hoteliers, these things could be much easier when it comes to adoption and accepting crypto payments.
I think what's really interesting is we've actually had some comments come in from people who work with chains, who are independent hoteliers, but also consultants with chains. So Dylan actually asked, he works in a Fairmount by Marriott. While I represent a branded property, I can see a great appeal for an independent property in attaching to a crypto because of the loyalty base. Where while we're currently seeing some unpredictability in hospitality trends due to COVID variants, could this be a method for independent hotels to capture market share in this unpredictable times? Alfred, your experience of this, you market your hotel every minute, every day on Twitter. Are you finding that this is one of the best ways possible to market your hotel?
Hugely, yes. It's amazing, because again, I can only speak for the community that I'm part of, which is the Catala community. I imagine that other projects have their own community, which are equally loyal and and interested. I'm constantly interacting with people from my community that want to come to the hotel. Like I said, 4 years ago when we started accepting ADA, we only put our hand on the door handle. We just sort of looked in. Now the door is opening. Like I said, I have a gentleman that checked in 10 minutes ago, which is from my community. I have somebody else coming in on the 16th. I have another friend of mine from California arriving on the 1st. It's happening like right now, and the great thing about these communities in general, I think crypto communities, is they communicate and they share all their experiences. So once you're in with one of those, I think you'll have a huge new base of people that are interested in coming to your hotel in particular, because they stand for something. You stand for something that they're interested in. That you're representing their way of thinking. So I couldn't be happier with what I've done, and I think it's only going to go from strength to strength. This will only keep growing. So I would recommend it to any hotelier, because it's like a niche. It's like a new world, that you're suddenly part of, and I mean it's a great experience.
Let's talk about the marketing side of things, because this is where It's a bit of a strange world. Is it somewhere that there is a space that you can market, or are you relying on the social networking channels to do your marketing? For instance, Calvin works in marketing. You know, how do you market your hotel or your product to the crypto world? Is it just relying on Twitter, or what are you doing?
I mean, I think Alfred just gave a great example of how that can work, and I think that's a fantastic question about building this inherent loyalty for independent properties. I think this is the future. I'm fascinated just sitting here listening. This is not a world that I'm too familiar with, so I'm really just kind of soaking it all in today. But I think it's a fascinating method of payment, and things are going to change, and it's something that we talk about on this show consistently, right? It's knowing your audience, knowing your demographic. If this is a currency that you're going to be using at the hotel, you have to be active where those people are going to be. This is probably going to be a very younger traveler, so they're going to be on Twitter, they're probably going to be on TikTok, they're going to be on these different channels, so you're going to need to be playing where they are. I'm hopeful that this takes hold. Being in the industry as long as I've been, and some of the conversations we've had recently, I'm skeptical of how fast it would happen. I mean, we are so behind in tech in this industry. It's amazing, and I hope that the people on this panel can push this forward a lot sooner. But I mean, I think of some of the logistical things. Somebody brought up finance. I mean, I've had so many issues with processing regular credit cards, right? In these hotels. I mean, imagine trying to throw this at your director of finance now. We need a complete overhaul in this industry, and it's something we've been talking about quite consistently, I think, over the past year. And I think this is the time to do it. COVID forced us to wipe the slate clean in a lot of ways, and I think we all need to embrace new methods, new mindsets, and this is fantastic.
Shane, I want to bring you in for a second, because obviously you run a very successful travel arm that relies on crypto. How are you marketing Travala? How is Travala out there? How do people know to buy hotel rooms and experiences on Travala.com?
I think Calvin just nailed that one. With the younger audience, there's 70% of our total revenue comes from cryptocurrencies. When we onboard a new token, we're going to put it out in our different social channels, whether it be Reddit, Twitter, Instagram. Crypto Twitter is a real thing. It's constant, it's active, and honestly, you make an announcement, it could be lost within a couple of days. So you really need to be on top of this marketing, and you actually have social media managers that are going to be able to teams that are going to be taking to our social media channels, because that's where you can really actively promote these different token use cases, because people really need to start shifting their mindset away from price. I think this is where regulators have a really difficult time, because people focus in on price. They go to crypto Twitter, they see a bunch of shillers that are going out and talking about price, and they get in at the top, and then they lose their shirt. You really need to understand the projects that you're going into and understand the use case of these tokens to be able to use them. So we want to bring on good projects that actually have a certain amount of holders and wallet holders to be able to give them an end use case. We don't want to focus on any price. But yeah, marketing with Twitter, marketing with Reddit, marketing with Facebook, finding different social media channels. And we've actually just had a token project come on board that did a campaign giveaway on TikTok, because they're very social media heavy as well. So everybody knows and understands their audience and where their audience lies. Alfred was talking about the Cardano community. Each one of these cryptocurrency projects has their own loyal fan base in crypto community. So they're going to know their community the best. So I talk with the heads of their teams to better understand where the community lies, so that we actually can tailor the message directly to them.
I love that, because that's where everything is. It's almost, personalization, personalized messages. And I'm not going to lie, when I started buying crypto, I had no clue. I jumped on it like everybody else for the FOMO, 100%. And then I spoke to Darko and started to learn a lot more about this, because we've been working on this show for quite some time in the background. And it just is so amazing to see the community. It's like hotels years ago. Hotels and brands in particular had very loyal guests, very loyal followers. This is just next level. And I just want to have this brief conversation. I'm going to bring Sheila in, because for once in Revenue Hacks history since she joined, Sheila's been very, very quiet. I want to bring in this conversation. I'm going to loop Thibault in as well, because let's have this conversation, and Darko, you can chime in as well, about this whole finance, revenue management and crypto. To me, it's not so difficult in a way, once we have the right systems in place to be able to do it, because it's almost like handling foreign exchange, if that's the way you want to put it. Darko put it very quickly at the top of the show and very easily. It's like holding foreign exchange. You just need to know when to sell it, what to do with it. Do we think that this will change the way revenue managers, not just price, but also how they're considered? Because now you're going into, we did say ages ago it was going to be a commercial role, but now you are a financial / commercial analyst, more so if you're going into this world. So what are your thoughts, guys?
Well, for me, can you guys hear me? Just checking.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just like Khristina, I think we are probably like the 1 in 5 between the age of 25 to 40 owning cryptocurrency. So me too. I invested on cryptocurrency, jumping on board, learning about it. But what I've been doing is constantly looking at the graph. And I haven't invested much, probably £450 in Bitcoin. And then I'm seeing it going up and down. So it's always trying to make me think from a hotelier perspective, as Thibault mentioned there. How do we maintain the losses? Because with the volatility, I can't even say the word. The
volatility.
Yes, the volatility of cryptocurrency is very risky, because there's no time limit. It could take months for the currency to go back up. So as from a hotelier perspective, from a financial perspective, with P&L, we have timelines. We have to present these numbers to the banks. This is how much we're getting from an EBITDA perspective, NOI perspective. How are we going to manage this? That's the huge questions. Calvin already mentioned, Sylvia mentioned that we're already so behind in technology. Coming out of COVID, we were talking about touchless tech, and then now we throw in something else, cryptocurrency. It's fantastic. This could be the future, but also, this 25 to 40, how much exactly do they have in their cryptocurrency? I would like to know their wallet balance, because also it'd be good to know how much should we invest to tap into that segmentation. Because as you know, from a hotel perspective, we have our segmentations, but we also look at the age demographic, who are the high spenders, and then also who doesn't spend too much. And then we kind of segment and cater the pricing accordingly. But with cryptocurrency, it's not easy. Probably we also may need to create new intelligence report to understand these trends from a revenue management perspective. That's
I see Thibault laughing in the background. Thibault's literally in the background about to explode again. I'm like, go on.
No, because I agree with you, Sheila, on the complexity of the revenue management, because it adds another layer which keeps moving, so it never stops. And then you may have like a billion on paper, but then at the end of the day, when you do your P&L, you're bankrupt. So that's why it's very complicated to add this kind of layer of complexity. And then I'm very disclaimer guy, but we don't recommend you, or we don't give any advice on investing on crypto or not. So if you lose all your savings on crypto tomorrow, don't say it was because of Khristina. Okay, very important. But it adds another layer. And then I see the different cryptocurrencies the same as your different channels when you do your distributions. So meaning like or two things. First of all, you can start to close or open different currencies depending on the risk and the trend that you see going. So you see like, I see like Bitcoin is decreasing. So I don't want to take this risk. So I'm closing Bitcoin, but accepting the other one. That could be one, the same with allotment open and close. And the second one, that's the revenue manager talking, it may be completely a new revenue stream for the hotel, in a way that if you are very savvy and you know about those kind of crypto worlds, and you know that you are going to invest, and you know that Bitcoin will go to 100,000 in the next few years, keep it, and then you may actually do much more on crypto investments than you do with your hotel rooms if you're really savvy with it. Or you can go bankrupt. That's we don't know. But
See,
yeah.
I don't think it's as chaotic as what we are thinking it can be. And I like the way Shane is like getting ready to move and Darko's ready to pounce on this as well. I don't think it is, because I've spent a long time speaking to Darko about this and how we as hoteliers and as a technologist can actually move hotels in the right way by the right training. And it's down to the hotels actually listening to the right people, be it a consultant or having the right advice on board. Because, you know, you don't have to sell your rooms in Bitcoin. It can just be that you're selling your rooms for €100 or £100, and that translates into the coin at that particular time. They buy it for that coin at that particular time, and you either convert it right away or you put a hold on it. But it's I think the finance teams, and Darko did mention this already, and I can't wait to hear what his thoughts are on this. I think it's just some people are making a bigger deal of it than what it is, because, you know, there's a whole new segment in here. There's a whole new marketing in here. And I think it's a new wave to be able to open the hotels for sure. Like Shane's company, they actually take payment in Bitcoin or whatever currency, 40 different currencies at the moment, and they translate it into the correct payment for the vendor that they get their rooms from right now. So it's not really so hard. Darko.
The challenge here is what Sheila was saying is actually, but it is changing. So right now, when you look from the financial point of view and aspect, you are right. Right now, if you hold, I don't know, thousands and thousands of Ethereum in your financial books, it's nothing, because it's not recognized as an asset. But in some countries, in South America, there are already governments voted that these currencies are assets, and it can be in your financial books. Sooner or later, this will for sure come. We are right now in a phase of regulatory things, how these things could be regulatory. Even the crypto world is basically not the mantra, but the aim is that we are decentralized, that we offer decentralization and the things which are basically removing the middleman, and that we can, if I want to work right now with you and send you some payments, that I don't need bank, you know. So that's the beauty of it. But in other words, what you can do right now, you can accept crypto. In a backend, you can have a wallet and you can have an exchange attached to it. Your financial director can decide, okay, right now we will immediately exchange this into fiat or in stable coins, and immediately you satisfy the finance part to have it in your paper. This is how the world is operating right now, because of the regulatory things which I mentioned right now. But the one thing is here, which I would like to connect the dots. So if we go to in the hospitality CRM world, we have email marketing bots who are actually replying on emails of our guests and sending them proposals, etc., etc. The same thing you can as well also do in the exchange part of the business and the bots as well, which financial director can say, okay, here we have, like, I don't know, if we go above 5% or I don't know, 1.5, immediately sell it. And the bot will do it immediately, or buy it, you know. So these are the things. And then you are like a trader. Then financial director or the person in the revenue point of view is trader. I know what I'm saying right now, it's a huge, but the thing here is that the people who are actually in the finance, for them, that should be like bread and butter in that case, to understand what is happening behind. Right now, because of this current situation, technology is here. The good thing is here that Alfred is accepting ADA. Shane is accepting almost 40 cryptocurrencies. We can pay with that. If I don't know, you bought Dogecoin, you have thousands and thousands of Dogecoin. Shane is accepting Dogecoin. You want to buy your trip. Great, perfect. You know, sell the Dogecoin. But what will happen in the background is that Shane and their financial people will say, okay, Dogecoin, sell it, you know, for fiat or something like that. Once this will be, the whole story will be finished, then in reality, then the story will change. You know, right now, this is how you can operate.
I think what's really interesting as well is that people don't understand that this can actually open so many other avenues. You know, Alfred is already working on a Stakefield to be able to expand his hotel, you know, to actually open the first ever Cardano hub. So it's not just seen as a new marketing wave or a new payment wave or a revenue stream. It's actually a community helping a community to build on further. And I think that's one of the exciting things. And people believe that crypto is, you know, it's a dark art. It's very much like revenue management. It's very unknown, but that's only because they don't have time, or they don't look at it in the right way. They get on board, as I said, buy everything at an expensive price and then sell it really cheap because they've got that fear of missing out, rather than actually doing their research. And I would have been one of them in the past, and until Darko showed me all the places to look and read, and I spoke to Shane and I spoke to Alfred and seen how these guys do their research and they communicate with other people within the sphere. And I do think that that is only going to get bigger. As Darko keeps saying and Shane keeps saying, this is only the beginning. You know, crypto's been around for a very, very long time. When we first heard about crypto 2007, 2012, no one really had a clue. No one thought it was going to be around. We heard about mining. We heard about all these things. No one actually understood it, you know, and now it's starting to explode where you can buy it readily everywhere and you can invest everywhere. So, you know, I think it's important for hotels to actually invest as we're going by. I'm just seeing something from Sheila. Go on. You always have I was wondering how quiet you were going to be today. Sheila always has questions to do with Gen Zs. This is the generation girl for sure.
You just mentioned about mining, and mining is all about energy use, and how can hotels, you know, the entire world is talking about sustainability, and that's a huge focus now for hotels and also the Gen Z, because otherwise there's a huge cancel culture out there with this new generation who are going to be the future guests of our hotel. And how is cryptocurrency is really helping sustainability? I mean, if a hotel is accepting cryptocurrency, and these cryptocurrencies are using huge amount of energy, which are not sustainable, you know, it's very contradicting.
So Alfred is shaking his head there. So we're going to let Alfred chime in here, because Alfred actually not only has a hotel, runs a hotel, and is doing his NFTs. Alfred is actually very much involved in charity and all this energy conservation as well. So Alfred, go on.
Well, the misconception about how to mine cryptocurrencies is that they all require huge amounts of energy. This is no longer the case. You know, this was the case initially with Bitcoin, the mining, and you can go on YouTube and find all about it. But even Bitcoin mining is now converting into different ways, different energies. It's also becoming green. But there are other protocols, like even Ethereum is now moving from a protocol called proof of work, which is the one that consumes all the energy, to another protocol which is called proof of stake. And like the one that I'm a fan of, Cardano, is actually already built on this particular protocol. So now, for example, to mine certain cryptocurrencies, the yearly consumption is like that of a country. There are other protocols, like the one that I'm part of, Cardano. The energy consumption is that of one house. So that problem is basically being solved. To answer your question.
But also on another side, if the hotel would like to mine coins, then in that case you would ask your chief financial officer what is our goal here, because we are not mining the coins, we are just accepting the coins, which is a very big difference. So when it comes to the energy in that place, the thing here is that in your case is pretty straightforward. You don't have these costs in general, you know. The only one thing here is that what Khristina is so amazed is that right now you can go invest, buy a coins, and that's it, you know, and that's the story for the hoteliers. Only in the case if you want to have for your community mining farms, staking farms, and then you can show them, look guys, here are their server racks, here are the protocols, etc., here are how the things are mined. In that case, that could be a possibility to earn a little bit more. But in reality, what Alfred is saying, yeah, the new blockchains and the new technologies are moving from proof of work to proof of stake, and we are seeing very, very big progress in that.
Well, just to hop on the sustainability issue, one of the issues with news is there's so many blanket statements about absolutes, right? There's no relative comparison. So if you actually look at the research coming out of Galaxy Digital back in May 31st, there's a publication that states that the traditional payment methods actually use twice as much energy as Bitcoin. So if you were to actually go out there and make an absolute reference to the amount of power and the amount of energy that it takes, that's kind of just dusting things under the rug. We're looking at replacing the traditional financial system. right? And yeah, I understand that it's still going to use some energy, and we're really actually honing in on how much energy consumption is really being used. Cardano, for example, there's different payment networks that are going to be using less and less. Now, if we even look at Bitcoin in general, it's the easiest one to talk about because it's the biggest by market cap, over $800 billion. And that's going to continue to grow as you actually see countries and institutions accepting it as legal tender and holding it in their treasuries. Now, I'd suggest that people actually go on and watch Michael Saylor's videos. He's been investing a ton into Bitcoin, and he's an early adopter into this. But what you're actually seeing is you're seeing different layers of payment methods coming on top of cryptocurrencies that are making them more efficient, and they're making them more reliable, and they're making them faster, less costly. But if you look at Bitcoin in general, and this isn't financial advice, but you see the amount of money that's getting pumped in the financial or the fiscal stimulus that's actually getting put into the economy. So you've got like a 21 million that are ever going to be in existence for Bitcoin. So if you actually look at the history of the U.S. financial system before Richard Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, you could kind of come back to that, given that there's a new payment layer on top of Bitcoin called the Lightning Network. And if there are certain companies and certain places that are actually starting to adopt this type of payment method where you just pay with a QR code directly on your bill. So it's going to be paid with a derivative of Bitcoin called a Satoshi. And sorry if this is over everyone's head, but I'm trying to go quick. But if you go into a bar in Copenhagen, you can literally square up a bar tab using Satoshis as a derivative of your Bitcoin. So if you look at the future of this, there's going to be different types of payment methods and whatever you believe in. So I don't think there's going to be one winner. You're going to have different projects that are going to be backed with different types of tokens. But these tokens are going to have a representation of that company, more specifically, different types of representations for different companies. But with Bitcoin, it's a store of value, so that you're going to be able to execute on a payment method on this Lightning Network. And feel free to reach out to me. We can have a discussion on this. I like to rabbit hole, and I talk too much, so I'm sorry.
I just want to give one additional point here in regards of, we all thought in regards to decentralization, particularly with the Bitcoin. The thing here is that we saw what happened in China. China actually switched off the whole mining farms, and they wanted to let's say to remove from the crypto world completely because they issued their digital currency. What happened is that all of these server rigs, they were transferred to somewhere else. They plug it in the electricity, and suddenly again the hash rate started to grow. And here, Bitcoin was not switched off. So that's the thing of the decentralization, and everything, where you can actually move the components wherever you want, and the system will always be live. So these are the things which are in general very important to know, that this will become a future. This is already here because we are speaking about accepting. Shane is building his business on top of that, Alfred as well. I forgot to mention that we have cheapair.com, Air Baltic, Richard Branson, Virgin Airlines is accepting different crypto payments. Get Your Guide is accepting Dogecoin because they say that the younger generations want to pay their trips with that. And the Kessler Hotels, Pavilion Hotels. So it's already here, So I'm happy to see more shows like this in the future.
Khristina, you're without sound.
Oh, well, now there we go. I tried to be cool today. I tried to actually do it for one show. It's never going to work again.
You almost made it.
I
You
know,
almost made
I
it.
almost made it. That's because someone was coming in my front door. But I do want to say thank you so much. We have to wrap it up because we have run out of time. We will have more shows on this. We're actually going to bring pretty much everyone on the panel back in again in October, where we are going to be focusing all on blockchain, technology evolution, payment evolution, proper conversations about how your hotel can adopt this, because this was only an introductory call. And we will catch up then with Alfred as well back in October, because I'm really conscious of the fact that it's going to be another 3 months away, that he will have so many good stories to be able to tell us. And the same thing with Shane. If you don't know about crypto, you want to learn about crypto, you want to see how your hotel can accept crypto, reach out to Alfred. Ask him. He is on Twitter. You can find him. He's always there. If you see him on our LinkedIn, he's there too. Reach out to Shane. Learn from Shane on how your hotel can use his technology and leverage his technology to be able to accept a new wave of bookings and a new wave of customers. Travalo.com. Shane is also on LinkedIn. Travala is pretty much everywhere across all the social spheres. And if you have any strange questions on crypto in general, or you're too afraid to ask these guys who actually know a lot of information, get Darko on the call. Spam Darko. He is like the most amazing guy when it comes to crypto. Like, he actually broke it down 100% for me to actually be able to understand it. So, you know, it's just so amazing. He's so patient. So I just want to thank all of you guys for joining us today. Don't forget that Hotel 360 is happening this year in the XL in London. We're so excited in Raise Up. We are partnering with the Hotel 360. It's the first hospitality live event. Just imagine in London this year. It's going to be super. We do have free tickets, so you can actually register online at hotel360expo.co.uk for free tickets. The Raise Up panel that's going to be there will actually be featuring some of the most amazing teams that we have. We've got Thomas Finn, we've got Erica, also Michael Hayward from Hayward Group, Sally Beck will be there, Nateo Mystery and Geoffrey Filappi. So it's going to be all talking about the next generation of hotelier and what you're missing. We won't have a Revenue Hacks show for the next 2 weeks. We are taking 2 weeks vacation so we can get all our ducks in a row and come back with really cool episodes for October and September. So we can't wait to see you guys. Enjoy your vacations, enjoy your breaks. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in. In case you didn't actually realize, we had every part of the world almost covered today. We had Costa Rica, we had LA, we had Croatia, we had London, we had Barcelona, and we had Switzerland and Dublin, of course, where it's raining. Everybody else seems to have better weather than me. So thank you all so much for joining today, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks' time.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.